I'm going to show you how to rebuild a diesel injection pump for $50.
First, I have to remove the pump gear inspection cover. There were some marks in here already, so I just line them up. Then I undo the return line, and then next I undo the injector nuts. Then the fuel inlet to the injection pump, then all 6 bolts holding the injection pump in place. I push it back and lift it out as an assembly. Then I remove all the hard lines. Then I remove the transfer pump end cap, locking screw, and plate. I put the end cap in a vise to loosen it, and then remove the end cap and regulator filter assembly. Inside you can see the transfer pump, it's working. I remove it in one piece. Then I remove the check valve, the idle solenoid, and governor cover. Then I pull this pin out of the throttle shaft and remove the guide stud. Then I remove the min-max governor, there's a spring inside. Then take the bolt out of the face cam and pull the throttle shaft out. Then I raise the governor linkage hook and pull out the metering valve and the vent wire socket head screw. Then I remove both head locking cap screws from the housing, head locating screw and advance plug, rocker lever and spring side plug. Then the side advance piston hole plug, valve and spring. Then I pull out the cam advance pin and piston assembly. Then I can remove the hydraulic head from the housing. And you're looking at the top of the governor. Then I take out the thrust sleeve, washer it rides on, and each individual weight. Then I slide off the locating ring and both rotor retainers. Now I can pull out the rotor. Then I remove the snap ring and drive shaft from the housing, and all umbrella seals. Next I remove a plug from the rotor, the delivery valve stop, and a spring. And here's what the problem was. The plungers are completely stuck in the rotor. I mean, they are straight up frozen. There's no moving them without force. So I mark the leaf spring and adjusting screw and count the number of turns it takes to remove them. If you don't put it back correctly, it will affect calibration. Then I use a brass drift to remove the plungers. Make sure you don't use any hard steel parts on these. And you can tell these things are really stuck in there. But now they're finally out. I'll gently clean them before I put them back inside. There's still one more stuck part in the rotor, and that will be the delivery valve. Now I do not have an extraction tool, so I put the plungers back in and plug a bunch of holes with my fingers and hold them in place and work the delivery valve until it pops out. Then I clean everything in my ultrasonic cleaner, which is soap and water. No need for harsh chemicals. Then I reassemble the delivery valve and torque it to 10 Newton meters. Then I put my leaf spring back onto the rotor and make sure to screw it in the 6 turns I counted and line up the dots.
I shouldn't have removed it, but I thought I would damage it when I set it down to hammer out the plungers.
And I'll give her a little more. I'll turn up the injection pump 1 flat. Let's roll a little coal, come on.
Doing this requires an EGT gauge to watch your exhaust temperature.
Then I reinstall the plungers. They go in so nice now. And the roller shoes and cam rollers. Then the cam ring, it must be installed in the proper orientation. And then the hydraulic head. Here's the gasket kit I used. It was like $50 from Alliant Power. I remove the old cap seal and install a brand new one. I make sure it's fully seated and then reinstall the rotor retainers with the cutout portion meeting over the roll pin hole in the hydraulic head. Then I slip over the locating ring with the split 90 degrees from the roll pin hole. Then I install the transfer pump liner so the slot aligns with the roll pin hole. Then I install the transfer pump blades with their respective springs inside.
I took apart the regulator to clean it. The piston goes in first, then a spring, and a thing called an adjusting plug. If you took it apart like me, you must screw it in the same amount of turns as when removed.
Then you install your filter screen and place it on top of the hydraulic head. Then you put on the pressure plate and turn the end cap until it fits snug. Then you place your governor weights back into the weight retainer. Install the thrust washer, and then install the thrust sleeve on top of that. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you. I think it was a mistake taking the drive shaft out. I get the black umbrella seal on, no problem. But the red one in the center is very delicate.
So since I ripped that red seal, I drove to Alliant Power in Phoenix to get a new one, and they're also installing it for me.
Their tech got it installed with a special tool and hot water. There's a timing mark here that absolutely must be aligned with this hole right here. The index line is aligned with the timing cover access hole, and the vent wire hole aligns in the housing here. I install a new O-ring seal.
Make sure to push it down evenly and into the groove it sits in.
With everything lubricated and aligned, I drop it into position.
Take your time here, this is an important step. Make sure it goes on evenly and don't use much force.
You can use a slight twisting motion, just don't push it too far or you will rip the O-ring. I install the 2 head locking cap screws finger tight. Slip in the advanced piston, the orientation matters.
You can rewind it here to see the orientation of the slot and the holes on the bottom.
Then drop in the cam advance pin. Then I remove and install a new seal onto the spring side plug assembly. In goes the servo advance valve and spring, advance plunger and side plug assembly. In goes the head locating screw, torque to 25 Newton meters. Then the advance plug, 10 Newton meters, and 30 Newton meters for the side plugs. Then I install the vent wire screw, be gentle with this thing, 3 Newton meters. Then in goes the metering valve assembly. Install the governor linkage hook onto its arm. Next, in goes the throttle shaft. Don't forget your plastic spacer and the thrust spring. Slip the small spring into the throttle block and guide it onto the throttle shaft. Next, we're going to slip in the guide stud. It goes inside of everything. And I install it based on a depth measurement I took before disassembling the injection pump. Then I use a screwdriver and a pair of pliers to preload the thrust spring. 25 Newton meters on the head locking screws, slip on the mylar washer and the face cam. I install it into position I measured earlier before I took everything apart. Torque to 3 Newton meters. Then you can install the rocker lever pin and rocker lever. Then I carefully work a brand new square seal around the perimeter of the governor cover. Install the governor cover. Torque to 5 Newton meters, 50 Newton meters on the end cap. The locking screw gets 9 Newton meters. Timing cover gets 2 Newton meters, housing pressure regulator gets 11 Newton meters, and so does the inlet. I roll a new seal onto the front and install the retaining pin. All torque fasteners get torque seal. And there we have it. You're going to want to line up your timing marks on installation. I remove the mesh screen off the intake and have a plate just in case it runs away. Alright, let's work some fuel through this thing. I see fuel coming out of an injection line. Time to tighten them up and be ready.
Ha-ha! Yeah! Woo! Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Blah! That one ripped seal cost me an extra $18.66, so rounding up it was 69 bucks, but you can't beat a really nice running IDI for that price.